Diet hacks and fat loss foundations. Hello and welcome. My name is Brent. I will be presenting to you today some science-backed strategies for sustainable weight loss and some diet hacks. All right, so let's get into it. Introduction here. Weight loss is challenging, okay? But science-backed strategies can make it easier, okay? Our body does not want to lose weight. Our body doesn't care if we're lean, doesn't care if we're shredded. It just wants us to be happy and healthy, okay? So we are fighting a battle against, evolution, okay? It's a tough battle. Now, obviously, when we lose weight, we do get healthier, okay? A bunch of health markers improve as we lose weight, as long as we're not too lean. But anyways, weight loss is challenging, okay? But science-backed strategies can make it easier. So in this presentation, I'm going to blend some practical diet hacks with some core fat loss principles, all right? This is going to be for both beginners and advanced dieters. Okay, I tried to make it simple enough that beginners will get a lot out of it, but also some advanced dieters might find, some extra tips, some extra hacks, and it's always nice to be reminded of the basics. So we're going to try to help control your hunger, improve your adherence, which is a big one, and provide you with some strategies to support your fat loss. Okay. Number one, the truth about fat loss, the ugly truth. Fat loss is simple, not necessarily easy. It comes down to calories in versus calories out. Yes, that is right. All diets do one thing. All successful diets, at least. They get you to consistently eat fewer calories than you burn. Okay, so whether it's keto, paleo, vegan, is that a diet even? I don't know. Carnivore, intermittent fasting, all these things are just tricking you into eating fewer calories. All right, keto removes an entire food group, an entire macronutrient group, which is carbohydrates. There's nothing wrong with carbs, but keto succeeds for the people that it succeeds with because you're removing carbs and thus likely removing a bunch of calories, okay? Things like Weight Watchers, point-based systems kind of just trick you into making a calorie deficit. So it's not, there's nothing special about certain foods that make you, burn through fat, although certain foods are more conducive to losing weight than others. But it's not like when you're eating an apple, you're like burning fat or anything, okay? So the best diet overall is the one you can stick to long term, okay? A perfect diet that you don't stick to is not a perfect diet, right? Tracking your macros. Should you do this or should you not? Tracking, I think, is very helpful. If you want to get super dialed in, certainly track your macros with a free app like MyFitnessPal, Chronometer, Lose It. You can see exactly what you're eating in terms of your calories and your protein and your carbs and your fats and even your micronutrients with some diets. But it's not necessary. I do track. I like to have people track at least for a little bit. Some people like to track for weeks or months and then go back to more intuitive eating. So as I have here, tracking helps, but habits matter more. Okay. We got some photos here. We have one depicting gravity, okay? That's what this photo is. Everybody has to follow the laws of gravity, whether you like it or not. We also have to follow the first law of thermodynamics, okay? I got cut off here, but energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change forms or be transferred from one form to another. So, calories in versus calories out. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Number two, don't cut too hard, too fast. Pictured here, we have actual footage of where I went after my last extreme diet. Had some nice tasty burgers and just kind of rebounded right up there. So extreme deficits, calorie deficits lead to hunger, low energy, binge risk, a bunch of other things, fatigue, low libido, low performance in the gym, low performance elsewhere, a lot of bad things, okay? Trust me, I've done it the wrong way. I've done it the right way. The right way is a lot more fun, okay? Slow rates of weight loss result in more fat loss and less muscle loss, okay? When you lose weight quickly, you risk muscle loss, and this is no bueno. We want to hold on to our hard-earned muscle, right? We don't want to just lose it. All right. So what is a good rate of weight loss? We want to target, actually the second one here, 0.5% to 1% body weight per week of weight loss, okay? If you're a 200-pound person, this equates to 1 to 2 pounds per week, which is actually a 250 to 500 calorie deficit. If you're a 100-pound person, this would be 0.5 pound to 1 pound per week of weight loss. If you weigh 150 pounds, it'd be 0.75, 3/4 pound to 1.5 pounds weight loss per week. Okay, so why do we not want to go above that? It's all the things I mentioned before. A huge one is also rebound risk. The faster you lose weight, the more likely you are to gain it back. And we're not trying to be shredded for a day, right? We want to be lean and healthy for a lifetime, okay? So losing weight at a moderate, steady pace also helps avoid hormonal backlash and metabolic slowdown. Your metabolism is going to slow down as you lose weight just because you're becoming a smaller person. Smaller people have slower metabolisms, but that's not a huge issue. We just don't want to exacerbate that by losing weight too quickly. And of course, slow, sustainable weight loss is more sustainable long-term. Now, what if you want to lose less than 1 pound per week or less than 0.5% body weight per week? You can. You certainly can if you have the time. I mean, time in terms of, weeks and months. But I find that often if you go too slow, it's not going to be as motivating. You're not going to see as much progress. Like, what if you lose 1/4 pound per week? You're going to lose 1 pound in a month. That's barely anything. 4 months and then you're down 4 pounds. It's just not very motivating when you're not seeing the scale move. So that's why we recommend generally 0.5% to 1% body weight lost per week. Protein. Prioritize protein. The gym bros were right. They always have been right. We should eat a lot of protein. Protein is the most filling macronutrient. It helps preserve our muscle when dieting. And it also has a high thermic effect of food, which means more calories are burned digesting protein than the other macronutrients. Okay. Protein and carbs both have 4 calories per gram, whereas fat has 9, alcohol has 7. But protein technically has a little less than 4 because you burn more calories while digesting it. So it keeps you full, helps control appetite and cravings. We want to target about 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight per day if you're tracking protein. If you're not tracking, just eat a lot of protein. It's really hard to get fat on protein. And you can technically eat too much protein, especially if it's like protein bars or highly palatable foods like that. But chicken breast, imagine trying to get fat on chicken breast. Very difficult. You can go above 1 gram per pound of body weight. I am currently dieting, cutting, and I'm eating maybe around like 1.25. I'm 180 right now pounds, and I'm eating like 210 grams of protein per day. So if you're below this, I would recommend just like gradually moving up and trying to get around that 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight per day or higher. All right, vegetables. Vegetables are actually my number 1 diet hack. They're very healthy. They're very conducive to weight loss. Volume eating with veggies. Veggies are low calorie and high volume, which means you're going to be fuller. They're high in fiber and water. They help you stay full again, and you should add them to almost every meal. Maybe not your pre-workout meal. Probably don't need them post-workout either. But I'm weird. I have broccoli in the morning, broccoli and asparagus in the morning with breakfast every day. Maybe some mushrooms if I'm having eggs. And then I do have some post-workout green veggies in my green smoothie after the workout, a bunch of frozen spinach. And I'll have a big salad every night with spinach, lettuce, and veggie mix, chopped up cucumbers, tomatoes, bell peppers, and then I'll put some protein in there, maybe some avocado. So try half your plate is veggies. Try that out. See how that works for you. And you don't need to track veggies, by the way. Just not really necessary. It doesn't matter if you have like 30 or versus 40 calories from broccoli or like 60 versus 70 from your salad. So I wouldn't worry about tracking your veggies meticulously. All right. Some simple swaps you can make. Smart treats. When you're dieting, you don't have to give up on sweets. Just swap smart. We have here some ice cream. Some normal tasty ice cream, high sugar. Got some tasty fats in there. And then we have a nice swap, which is sugar-free Jell-O. Okay? Actually, better swap might be Halo Top. Just swap this ice cream out for Halo Top ice cream or some other high-protein ice cream. Halo Top is like 300 calories per pint. A bunch of protein, still super tasty. It's almost like real ice cream, almost. Sugar-free pudding versus higher calorie desserts. Here's the sugar-free Jell-O. I'm a big fan, especially it's summer when I'm recording this. You can buy Jell-O packets, just mix them in water, and then it's like 80 calories for an entire big bowl of Jell-O. So, would recommend. Pretty tasty. So, low-calorie treats reduce binge risk. If you like tasty things, just swap it out. Swap it out for some lower-calorie options. All right, sugar-free gum. Big fan of this one. I've got my sugar-free gum right here that I'm chomping on. This helps with oral fixation and cravings, delays unnecessary snacking, and is best between meals or when you're bored. Definitely use sugar-free. The sugar-free, this kind, Trident, it's got like 3 calories per gram, 2 maybe, or not per gram, per stick of gum. And one of these things will last you like 10 minutes, depending on the flavor, maybe longer. For the spearmint and the cinnamon ones, those ones tend to last longer. The fruity ones tend to last not as long in your mouth. Anyways, chomp on some gum. Great diet hack. This is what I would truly call a hack. I mean, you can just chomp down on these and you're good to go. So try sugar-free gum. Number 7, stay busy to avoid mindless eating. All right. Most snacking is out of boredom, not necessarily hunger. Okay. So distract yourself. Go for a walk, journal, call a friend, call your mom. She wants to talk to you. Get busy with something. Just get busy with work, a good project. Busy hands and minds reduce cravings. So have a go-to list of distractions and, you'll be more productive as well. So this is a huge one. Stay busy. Next is caffeine. I suggest using caffeine strategically. Okay, caffeine provides a mild metabolism boost. That's small, but it's small. It suppresses your appetite in the short term. Okay, it can boost your mood and energy to make you more active. So you should use black coffee, tea, or 0-calorie drinks. I'm a fan of diet soda and coffee, and use caffeine strategically. Okay, so what I do personally is I don't have caffeine year round. When I'm not cutting, when I'm not dieting, so when I'm bulking up, I will not have caffeine because I got food. I don't need caffeine. And then when I start cutting, I'll slowly add in caffeine in the form of diet soda. And then as my weight goes down, my caffeine intake will go up. Okay, just gradually. I'll slowly add in like a cup of coffee a day, and then it'll get up to 2 and diet soda. So that's what I do. I would also recommend using it strategically, like maybe having a little less caffeine on your rest days when you're not working out, and then maybe a little more on the hard days, like leg day. That's what I do. And you could also have a little less when you're well rested, a little more when you maybe didn't sleep as much the night before. So use it strategically this way. You can use the effects when you need them. Definitely avoid caffeine late. I would recommend cutting off at least 8 hours before sleep. You don't want to mess with sleep. Sleep is very important for a ton of different reasons. So no caffeine late. Drink smart. Do not drink your calories. This is one of the easiest swaps, I would say. Liquid calories add up fast and they don't fill you up. If you're drinking regular soda or like sugary Starbucks drinks, just stop. Replace with diet soda, easy swap. Replace sugary Starbucks coffee, whatever's, with black coffee, and put some not seasoning. Put some stevia in it. This is stevia here. I like to get stevia packets and put them in my coffee. I also have been putting a little protein powder in my coffee, mostly for the taste, but you get a little extra protein as well. So replace all these things with water, tea, diet soda. Diet soda is totally fine, by the way. Do your own research. Ask ChatGPT, but aspartame has been studied extensively and is not found to be a risk for humans in normal amounts. Soda versus diet soda, it's like night and day. I remember someone saw me drinking soda one time and they're like, "Oh, you're a healthy person. Why are you drinking soda?" And I'm like, "You're a fitness guy. Why are you doing this?" And I was like, "It's completely different. Diet soda versus soda, two completely different things." So you could also try water before meals. That helps some people. Stay hydrated. Aim for at least 8 cups of water per day. It really depends on how big of a person you are, how much exercise you're doing, and how hot it is outside. But that's a good place to start. And then slow your liquid intake down in the evening. You don't want to be getting up a bunch of times in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. Okay, Whole Foods. Whole Foods first. Whole Foods are more filling than ultra-processed foods. We all know this. They are higher volume, higher in fiber, higher in nutrients, micronutrients, meaning vitamins and minerals. So eat your whole foods. It's hard to overeat whole foods, right? Imagine trying to get fat on broccoli. So difficult, okay? Or even something like chicken or potatoes. So build your meals around lean protein and veggies, okay? Let me just list off some of them. And I will say also, you don't have to eat all whole foods, okay? Just like the professor, there was a professor who did like a Twinkie and junk food diet and lost weight, proving again that is in fact the calorie deficit, not the foods that are making you lose weight. But that's hard mode, right? He was, I'm sure, very hungry, not healthy. If he was doing any kind of workouts, they probably suffered. So that's hard mode. So eat at least 80% whole foods is a good target, and you'll just stay nice and full. So some of my favorite whole foods. Let's start with protein. Chicken breast, the OG. Chicken breast, basically pure protein if you get a lean cut. Most kinds of fish, tilapia and salmon are my go-tos, but cod, halibut, really any kind of fish is going to be great. And steak, some lean cuts of steak. Steak is a little less lean than chicken breast, but it's totally cool. Chicken thigh, again, a little less lean. And pork, ground turkey, get lean cuts of ground turkey. Eggs are great. Nothing wrong with the yolks, by the way. Egg whites are good too. Get a carton of egg whites. Maybe mix them in with the eggs. I like to do like half a carton of egg whites and then 1 or 2 eggs, chopped mushroom and some spinach or kale in there. Great breakfast food. Okay, on to carbs. Potatoes are number 1. All right, I love potatoes. Boiled potatoes. Super tasty, but I usually microwave them because I'm lazy. And super tasty, super filling. Just microwave them, put them with some salt and pepper. Oats are good too. Oats are not quite as filling. That's my number 2 dieting carb source. Rice I usually stay away from when dieting. It's not quite as filling. Ezekiel bread, I used to do that. It's all right. I guess that's not really a whole food, huh? So yeah, those are the main carb sources I like, as well as, we'll talk about fruits in a bit. But so for fats, avocados are great. Almonds, good, although easy to overeat. So take it easy on the almonds, but you do need some fats in your diet. You got to get it from somewhere. Eggs, again, a protein and carb source, and protein and carbs. Peanut butter, I have beef with, so leave the peanut butter at the store. Too easy to overeat. And I guess that's not really a whole food anyways. And fruits. Fruits are great. Apples and frozen berries are my number 1 when dieting. Super filling, super tasty, nature's candy. A bowl of like a cup of frozen blueberries is 70 calories. So even if you go overboard and eat like 4 cups of those, it's only 300 calories. So I love those. Bananas, a little less satiating, but I like to put those in my post-workout smoothie. But really any kind of fruit will do you quite well. So Whole Foods just makes dieting so much easier, and you're going to be healthier, fuller. This is a huge hack. All right. Getting into the mindset stuff here. Consistency over perfection. Your progress is going to come from your weekly average, not your daily perfection. Okay? If you miss a day, you fall off a little bit, it's not going to ruin results unless you let it, unless you turn it into a big thing. So if you're slightly over your calories one day, whatever, just get back on it. Just keep going. It's not a big deal. Have the big picture in mind. Okay? Get back on track. Don't restart. Don't try to cut calories super low the next day. Just get right back on track. Get back with the plan. One thing I heard that I like is when you say you take the wrong exit on the highway. Shout out to Alex Gibson, by the way, on this one. You take the wrong exit on the highway. What are you going to do? You're not going to just keep going on that exit. That's like eating a cookie or something, and then you're like, oh, my diet's ruined, so you eat all the cookies. You're not going to do this. You're just going to get back onto the highway and just keep on going. So build habits for long-term consistency. Habits are a game changer because helps you rely less on discipline and motivation and more on just, this is what I do. I get up, I go for my walk, I eat my eggs and potatoes and broccoli, whatever it is for breakfast, and that's what I do. So habits are huge and a huge game changer. Next one, moderators versus abstainers. Some more mindset stuff here. Some people do it best with moderation, okay? They do best with having a little treat now and then. They find that if they do not have, tasty things every now and then, they get a little deprived, and they find the diet doesn't work as well for them, okay? Other people, like myself, do better with total abstinence when it comes to food. Not talking anything crazy here, don't worry. So none at all, like no cookies is better because 1 cookie will turn to 5, which will turn to 8. Okay. So know your personality. Don't force a method that doesn't suit you. And different people can be different, can be a moderator versus an abstainer at different times. So like I will usually be an abstainer. Like I just don't buy junk food, quote unquote, junk food in my house. Don't buy peanut butter. Leave peanut butter at the store where it belongs if you're an abstainer. And then if I go out, or have dinner with family or whatever, I'll enjoy the dessert. So I'll be maybe a moderator then, I'm not trying to insult my mom by not having her brownies. So you can be, different ones at different times. Another thing, maybe when you're dieting, you're an abstainer. Like, just don't have, junk food at home when you're dieting. Because when you're dieting, everything is like, cookies are like crack, Like, you have one, you're just like, I want all of them. When you're more well-fed, on the other hand, it's not as, you could be more of a moderator. So what I'm saying is you could be an abstainer when you're dieting, maybe more of a moderator when you're not dieting. So you could try that out. So both approaches can work. Just choose the one that helps you stay consistent. All right. One of my favorite things, sleep. The power of sleep for fat loss. Sleep is a game changer, guys. Sleep deprivation increases your hunger hormone, which is ghrelin, and lowers your fullness hormone, which is leptin. So easy way to think about ghrelin is when your hunger is growling, that's ghrelin. Ghrelin causes growling. And for leptin, I don't know, it's the other one. So when you have poor sleep, you have more cravings, you're more likely to make worse food choices, and you certainly have less energy. Don't use this as an excuse, like, oh, I didn't sleep well last night, I'm just going to eat everything. But just know that a good night's of sleep is setting yourself up for success. I certainly know that even if I get like 6 hours of sleep, which luckily doesn't happen a lot these days, but if it happens, I find myself more prone to eating hunger or comfort foods. Okay. So it also affects metabolism, muscle recovery, and stress regulation. 7 to 9 hours is ideal for most people, most adults. And I would recommend taking steps to improve your sleep. Get a consistent bedtime schedule. Get a cool and dark room. Get some blackout curtains. Get you maybe some earplugs too. I've been doing that lately. And limit screens before bed. And limit stressful things before bed, like social media. So get your sleep, guys. This really is a game changer. There's nothing like a nice night of sleep. Bonus hacks. All right. We already talked about some of these, but protein and veggies in every meal. Again, except your pre-workout, and don't necessarily need it in your post-workout. Especially eat these first. If you eat protein and veggies first, you'll be more full and less likely to overeat on the bread. You can try water before meals and snacks. Smaller plates. This is a funny one. This is not really one I do, but some people find it to be helpful. If you have a smaller plate, you can put less stuff on it. So planning ahead. This is a big one. Meal prep every Sunday or in the morning, just whenever you can, just plan ahead. When you have healthy food ready to go, it just makes it that much easier to eat the healthy food. Sleep, again, 7, 8, 9 hours to control your hunger, and track your progress. With photos, clothes, track your weight. Tracking weight is an interesting one. I think for most people it does help. For some people it makes them a little, too psychotic, but I think for most people tracking weight is a great thing. What gets measured gets managed, and I would recommend tracking your weight more than once a week. Once a week is fine, but if you just weigh yourself once a week and it happens to be on a high day or a low day as far as weight, you're not getting accurate data. So if you weigh yourself like 3 times a week, say like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then you're going to have more accurate data, because weight can fluctuate a lot, throughout the week. You have like a little extra carbs or extra sodium, or especially for women, your weight fluctuates a lot throughout the month. But what matters is the overall trend. So little tip there. All right. GLP-1 medications. Couldn't make a weight loss presentation without these bad boys. So these are things like Ozempic and Wegovy are the most famous ones. More recently, tirzepatide and retatrutide are the new ones. GLP-1 receptor agonists reduce appetite and regulate your blood sugar. They were originally created for type 2 diabetics, and now they're prescribed for weight loss. They can quiet food noise and improve satiety. What they do is, one of the things they do is they slow gastric emptying. So they slow the rate at which food goes through your system. They also have some effects with the reward centers in the brain that are pretty interesting. Might also help with drug addicts and reducing alcohol intake. So you still need to eat in a calorie deficit to lose weight on these. They don't burn. It's not a fat burner. They don't increase your metabolism. They just allow you to better adhere to a calorie deficit. So basically an appetite suppressant, but quite a powerful one. There are some side effects. Some people report some slight nausea, GI distress, potential muscle loss with rapid weight loss. So the muscle loss thing, let's address that. Muscle loss is not an inherent, it's an inherent risk, but it's not inherent with these medications if you do things right, okay? So as we see in the last point here, the best results come when you combine GLP-1s with high protein, weight training, and slow fat loss. So muscle loss only occurs when people do the opposite, when they have low protein intake, when they don't do strength training, and when they lose weight too quickly. So as long as you have high protein, you're doing some kind of strength training, and you're not losing weight too quickly, you don't have to worry about excessive muscle loss with these medications. Strength training, by the way, I'll get into that in another video, but if you're a beginner, I would recommend 2 to 3 times per week, but that is for another video. Certainly, we want to do strength training while losing weight to prevent muscle loss. Okay. Final thoughts. Fat loss is about habits and structure. It is also about willpower. I will amend this one. You do need to use willpower, but we want to create habits and structure that limit the amount of willpower we need to use, okay? So again, yes, you will need to use the willpower to stay on your plan. to put down the fork, to say no to that extra slice of cake. However, if we have good habits in place and good structure, that will allow us to be successful while using less willpower. And willpower is finite, okay? So we want to make it the easiest as possible on ourselves by, again, good habits, good structure, doing things like not keeping trigger foods in the house, setting ourselves up for success by sleeping well at night, prepping food, buying healthy foods, things like this. Hacks make dieting easier and more sustainable. I would say hacks are things like the sugar-free gum, caffeine I would say is a hack, staying busy is a hack, things like other sugar-free alternatives like diet soda or stevia or sugar-free Jell-O. These things I would say hacks. Vegetables too I would say is a hack, Whole Foods. So choose what fits your lifestyle. And as always, consistency beats extremes, okay? You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. And if you can be consistent over the days and the weeks and the months, you will be successful, okay? Just find a plan, stick to it. You don't even need a set plan, just the plan being, follow basically everything in here. Hit your protein, get veggies, eat mostly whole foods, sleep well, do some strength training, maybe get some sugar-free gum, get those hacks, and you will be successful, I guarantee it. So, thank you for watching. There's another deeper dive on my YouTube channel. I think it's over an hour long, talking about similar concepts, but just gets a little more in depth with things. And if you want some personal help, if you couldn't tell, I love talking about these things. That's why I'm making a 35 half-hour minute video. That makes sense. That's why I'm making a long video about this. So, would love to talk to you about your fitness goals, help you with some fat loss things. So you can book a free 15-minute weight loss strategy call with me. There's no pressure. I do coach people, but the call is totally free. There's no pressure to commit to anything. I'm just going to give you basically some more tips and some personalized tips and an action plan that you can use on your own to help you lose weight in a sustainable way. So feel free to book that. I'll include a link below in the description. And also, if you're interested in full service coaching, I offer that as well. I write you a custom workout program, personalized diet plan. We do habit tracking through the app, so you check off little habits every day, back to the habit thing, like getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, including protein with every meal, going for a 10-minute walk, etc., etc. So I also help with the exercise form if you're in the gym, and we do accountability. Accountability is a huge one through weekly check-in calls and coaching calls, and then you have access to me for messaging as well. I'm proud to say I've got a bunch of reviews, a bunch of 5-star reviews. You can Google Henderson Fitness Coaching, and you'll see all these reviews from past and current clients. So, and these are all pictures of me and my face. So, thank you again for watching. I hope this was useful to you. You can subscribe if you want more things like this, and leave a comment and tell me what kind of video you'd like to see next, because I am taking requests. So I wish you all the best in your weight loss journey, and I will see you next time.